So, how then will you know when changes happen? What will be the signs to you that we're moving toward the changes as you that you see? Um, how we, what will be the signs of change for you? What will it look like? How will you recognize it?
A few. Next election. I think that will be one that will be obvious. I think that in a lot of ways, Obama ran a fairly clean campaign, and one of the I actually wasn't sure who I was going to vote for originally, um, and mm, partially partially because anything was a step better than where we were. So I really, I mean, I was like, well, out of this election, it doesn't matter because there's going to be at least some intelligence back in the White House. Um, but there was also a sense of, I don't have children, but at some point, I think that I might, and I was imagining my kids in the future asking me who I voted for at this election. And I was like, and what do I do? Turn to my son and tell him I voted for a person who's white? Or do I turn to my daughter and tell her I voted for a man? And I was like, either way, it's bad. So I just went, okay, so I'm just gonna do this based upon what I see as what their plan is, and I really did a lot more research about this election than I have in the past, and choosing my candidate. And eventually, I actually chose to go with Obama. I did it because I thought that Hillary didn't run the type of campaign that I wanted. And when I saw her lie, I was like, that's more of what we have. I don't want any more lies. And it was such a small thing. It was something she didn't need to lie about. So I was disheartened by that. I mean, I'm glad. I like the Clintons. That's not an issue, but I just felt like she ran a typical campaign. And so what I'm curious to see is if in the next election that it cleans up. I think that our government doesn't give the people of this country, they act like they call it whatever Main Street they want to call us. I think they treat us like we're stupid, that we're uneducated, we don't know that we don't do our research, that we don't find out what's going on in the world, we don't read the paper, or we don't, I mean, I'm tired of being treated like I'm dumb. And I want somebody to speak to me intelligently and be honest. And obviously when people make promises in campaigns, they're not in that position and they don't know what's actually possible. So the other thing that I've seen I think change has already started to happen, because he's actually started to follow through on the things he set out. So like closing Guantanamo, and I think that was huge. I think that's strategic in putting us in a better position in the world. I also hope that really I'm waiting to see if we start really real diplomacy, if diplomacy looks what it's going to look like on an international scale, and not. And I'm curious to see who we're diplomatic with, because, for example, if we start to really listen to what third world nations are saying, or developing nations, whichever terminology you want to use for that, if we actually start to like treat them as equals, then that will tell me that we've actually made some change. Because I think right now we've only played with like the big players,